I'm Heather Love, professor of English. I was born in Gainesville, Florida. My mom was in college there. My dad was in law school. I ended up growing up in Louisville, Kentucky, but after a short stint out west, because my parents were hippies, and we drove across the country to Mexico, and we ended up settling in Arizona for a few years. We moved around a lot and had a lot going on in my family and stuff, but school was always a kind of stable, good thing that I like to do. So I was really interested in literature in high school and really into school, and I wasn't planning to go to a fancy school, but I ended up going to Harvard and just kept studying literature there. That was really what I wanted to do the most, but also discovered literary theory. It was the late 1980s, and there was a lot of work in like deconstruction and things like that I got very excited about. Got to study with really interesting, brilliant people like Barbara Johnson during that time. I was also coming out as gay during that time. I was really interested in questions of sexuality and gender. There wasn't really a way to study that so much at that point, but there was feminism. So I studied feminism and feminist theory. And then once I graduated, I really wasn't sure what to do. I ended up working in a furniture store for 5 years, which is what I'd grown up doing. My parents are in the furniture business. So that was interesting, but I really wanted to go back to grad school. And I ended up going to University of Virginia in Charlottesville, starting in 1996 in English, and just kept studying English. And also by the time I went back, queer theory and history of sexuality and all these kind of questions around gay and lesbian history, gay and lesbian life had become much more possible to study. So that's what I ended up doing in grad school. So I got hired in English at Penn, and English is a good fit for me because I do love literature and literary theory, like I was saying. But normally when you get hired in English, you are going to teach like modernism or the Renaissance or 18th century or something else. And I am a modernist, but I got hired to teach gender studies in general. So that to me was a really good job because that really is my primary field, gender and sexuality. And I've been teaching classes in queer theory, transgender studies, feminist theory, anything really having to do with gender and sexuality here this entire time. That's kind of my main thing that I teach here, sometimes through a literary lens, but sometimes not. And I guess since I've been here, I've developed other interests. I started working in disability studies, which has been really rewarding, teaching that. I do a lot of work on history of the social sciences, sociology and literature. And I've also had the chance to do some kind of inventive courses in queer studies. I am really dedicated to questions of LGBT justice. So trying to connect up research from the past with how to think about the future for that is just an ongoing concern and something I'm committed to. And also, I guess, getting to teach that material every year to people it's really new to. They might think maybe I'm gay, or maybe I'm transgender, or maybe I have some commitment to those issues. But they don't realize that there's a whole academic field around it. There's a whole history, there's a whole set of debates, and that it's a real conversation that they can join into. And that's very exciting to me.